I hope you still have some energy left after a long day of table crits and designing and working. But I think I only have good news today. I mean, the first good news is Thomas Lutens from O19. It's a transdisciplinary platform based in Ghent, Belgium. He's our guest today. The other good news is that there's going to be free pizza after the lecture, so you might want to stay till the end. There's also going to be the master bar, thanks to the student who reinitiated this format. It's really great to have that. It's going to be down in the... It's going to be on the ground floor, right? Yeah. A bit inside, a bit outside. We will see. In between the chickpeas of the experiments. Okay. Hey, the first time I actually encountered your work was a couple of years ago. It was, I remember, in the train. I was in the train back from Paris with Dries Rodet from Trivo Rodet. And then the train got stuck, and we were in this train for several hours, and he started to browse through images and showed me like Belgian practices that he admires. And then he showed me, I printed it on the Xerox at home. He showed me this image of the threshold. It's an entrance to an old factory space where they are staying, and I was totally fascinated by the way they did it. It's super raw, it's precise, it's also complex, and it's crazy how they managed to actually form a space out of an entrance. And then, of course, I got to know other projects, and I felt that there was so much wit, so much humor, so much irony also, and serious playfulness within the projects. But also, they're really critical, really subversive, but maybe in the most charming ways. So I thought, in a way, it seems to be that you guys are like optimistic punks. I'm not sure if this is a contradiction in itself, but. It felt that there's always like a sense of sabotage or a language of imperfection in these projects. It's very bottom up what they do. It's really ad hoc, really in this close to what Claude Lévi-Strauss was calling like the wild thought, la pensée sauvage. It seems in a way unplanned. It's accumulative. It's a very step-by-step way of doing architecture, and it's also really remarkable that it doesn't follow like a final image. It's also in this time of like high-end render images, it's really a process-orientated practice. So O19 is a platform which works in a collective way, in the really horizontal way, and it's a collaboration of different practices that work together for different projects. And as I understood, you're actually a graphic designer, so there are visual artists, musicians, writers, graphic designers, architects that work together, and I think it's crazy how in these projects, how these disciplines really start to merge. So graphic design merges into kind of art, and art merges into architecture, and then music again creates a total different experience of this very architecture. So I'm super excited to hear about your work. Welcome, Thomas Lutens from O19. And there will be a bit of time. We'll have like 15 minutes something to ask you questions later on, to have a discussion. It would be super nice if you could participate and if you could do that together. Okay.
I like questions, so.
Oh, great. Okay.
Think of them already. Okay, so my name is Thomas. I'm from O19. We're located in Ghent. I'm going to take you through a bit of the history of O19 and some projects specific, and maybe also talk a bit about how we work and how are we organized, because we exist for about 13 years now, and we really started right after art school. So it's not only 13 years, it's also a very formative 13 years in people's life. So let's go, I guess. It all started with this building. There was an open call from the city because they didn't know what to do with this building, and they didn't also want to, because it's a neighborhood at that time that still had to be developed, and they were looking for people basically to start do something there, you know, the whole gentrification story, but we applied anyway. And we organized, I will go into the history a bit later, but just to give a quick overview what we sort of do, I will go through a few projects very quickly. But it's a big space, it's an old welding factory, and we organize, over the years we've been organizing debates, lectures, exhibitions about graphic design, architecture and visual arts. That's our main focus. We invite a lot of people. This is a project, this is a kitchen by Norman Potter. and it was part of somebody's collection from the serving library. And it hasn't been packed out since many years, but it was under storage because it's on the same project like the next one. This is the serving library. It's a big collection of works of graphic design, and it was stored for a long time in the UK. But when Brexit started, they approached us, the collective, if we could do something with it before the borders were closed. So we shipped it to Europe, and then we started to make a scenography for it, and we made a tour, especially focused on schools. So we worked together with a lot of graphic design schools on this project to do like workshops about all the works and make new publications and so on. And the kitchen, it was also part of the collection. This is right now still on view at O19. We also have a graphic design studio as a part of O19. We don't design ourselves anymore. We used to do that, but now we work together with alumni and people who were interns at our space are still connected through the community around O19 and also through the graphic design studio. Right here we're working on the new identity for the design museum in Ghent. It's closed for 5 years now, and there's a complete reboot, and we proposed not to give the assignment to a big communication office like it always goes these days, but that we told the design museum that they should do something with all the graphic design schools that are in the city and really think about how their identity can show the evolution and the experiment that's happening at the schools. And as a design museum, you should support it and show it, we said. And then they switched the question to us, and they said, okay, you have a lot of critique on how things are going with graphic design at the design museum. We give you 3 years and think of a concept how to do it, and that's the start actually of the design studio. We build a lot of exhibitions, not only in our own space, but also a lot in different spaces, and we have a sort of growing collection, not really collection because we do not store any of the works, only the works that artists left behind, those we store, but we don't have a collection on our own, but we have a big community and a big network of artists that we work with, and usually we like to work again with them. So we don't go from one to the other, but we try to have a sustainable relationship with all the artists we work with. Sometimes we do, not sometimes, we do a lot of things in public space. I think the most of our projects happen in public space, and this is an art integration piece that Olivier Houtals, who's also part of our collective, made in a park somewhere in the city. This is also the building. The past few years we've been experimenting with the little side storage of our building as a space for a pizza joint. It was for a few years where somebody, artist, caterer, made very nice pizzas, and together with a lot of people of our collective, but also interns, we did the whole graphic design and scenography thing around it, so it became like a big part of O19 for a while. We have a lot of billboards and we have a lot of flags, but we will go into that later. This is a project we did in Roubaix in France. They asked us to make a pavilion actually for children, and I don't know, in some brainstorm that took about 30 minutes, somebody said like, yeah, we should make a bouncy castle, and then we couldn't think of anything else, and it turned out not so hard, and it's quite payable to make a bouncy castle. So now we have a model scale of O19 or space as a bouncy castle, and it travels around the country from exhibition to exhibition, but also sometimes in a park when there's like the city organizes something for the children, and then we give our bouncy castle to the children in the neighborhood. This is one of our latest installations. It's on the back facade of the building. As you can see, and you will see through the photos also, the neighborhood is completely changing. So this is a recent picture. The buildings in the back that you can see, they were not there the moment that we started. Only the historical building on the left, but the top levels were added later. And Neighbor is an installation, a light installation that we designed for the Light Festival. And it's a way to communicate with all our new neighbors, because on the other side of the street, there's like the big building towers that everybody knows. So every few months, about 500 new people, because it's going very fast right now, every half year or something, a new tower is opened. New 500 people are watching our little building in front of the other buildings. And we invite now a lot of artists to contribute something to the Neighbor installation, that's the name Neighbor, to have artistic work and communicate with the neighborhood in that way. This is a sort of sidetracked project. It's Kunsthalle Ghent. We started it 5 to 6 years ago together with another organization. It was an open call for a church that was empty in the city. And we saw a lot of potential there to do all the stuff that we couldn't do at O19, because O19 is a shitty factory in the end. You know, it's very old, it's leaking everywhere, so a lot of the exhibitions ideas that we had, we couldn't do it there, but we saw potential to do it in a church. And after 5 to 6 years now, it's a completely separate organization now. So it's very much connected, but they go their own way. But that's a big other story. I won't go into it now, because we're here for O19. And of course, flags. A lot of people know us through our flags that go, they go all around Europe at the moment. And we also do a lot of billboards on our site. So that's what we're doing. Quick overview. But it all started with this building. And I tried to go back, and this is one of the first pictures I found in our archive. I think it's around 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And back then, maybe you still recognize me, but it's me, 12 years ago. So then I finished together with Valentijn as a graphic designer. We got the building, and actually we were running a record label at that time. So we weren't really that much focused on architecture or scenography and so on. We were just running a record label, and we got a big building to keep continuing developing our records and music. But we started to invite people around us, and Valentijn's brother is an architect, so he also joined the group, and slowly but steadily the record label became a sort of collective of like-minded people, and we were thinking about how can we use this space. We started building things. All the money that we had from the records, we just put it in a few beams and some paint, and we added this very simple structure to the building that organizes everything. It made it smaller because it was too big, and you had all of the triangulars on the side in different sizes that could host other events or other types of happenings. It could be closed off. And what we did in the first few years, we did a lot of concerts. So actually we were just a few hardcore punk rock kids who got a big building and played in it. That's basically how O19 started. And that is also the reason why we are called O19, because before O19 we made 18 other records. And we were thinking, what name should we give it? And the record label was called Smoke and Dust Records. So 19 is just the building. The building also started as a temporary project. We had it for 5 years, so we also knew that it's only something that would go away, but we never expected O19 to become bigger than the record label, so now we're O19. But the organization behind O19 is still called Smoke and Dust Records. The day before we opened, somebody put this tag on our door. A bit unexpected, but we decided that we sort of liked it, and we started to use it as a stamp for the concerts. We made flags about it, and even today it is still embedded, embossed in our, how do you say it, the visitekaartjes, the business cards. Yeah, the business cards. So it's still slightly embossed on the background. And this is the earliest group picture I found of the collective. It's not 2013. It's already 2 or 3 years later. And I'm just going to take you through the group pics I found in our archive, so you can see how it grows. This is a project during COVID, the beginning of, right before COVID it started. This is a few years later. So you see the collective kept on growing in an organically way. Also very important, I think, next to the collective, we always work together with a lot of young people, alumni, a lot of interns. Most of the profile of the interns are like graphic designers or architects who don't really think that they like to do graphic design or be an architect, and then they end up at our space. And basically we build a community around them, and we build stuff together and shape ideas together. Once a year we try to get all the people together, because a lot of them are also from abroad, but once a year we do like a big party with food, and we try to get everybody together. This is from a few years ago, and this one is from last year. We also have children now, as you can see, so that's what I mean with the big changes over 12 years. So as you can see, we've grown from like a few people running a record label to a big collective and big community around 2019, with a lot of people being involved in very different ways. And we also had to start to organize ourselves. And just to give you a bit of an insight, because, and I won't go too long into the theoretical or technical parts of it, but we've also evolved from an almost non-existing organization to a structurally funded organization by the government. We could also not survive without the funding that we get from the government. And this also means that on our business side, we are completely different organized than before, but we still try to have the ethics and the horizontality and so on of an artist-run organization. We still try to embed it in how we are organized. So we are a non-for-profit organization. We have a few people on the daily management, as it called. I'm one of them. And around that we have the core collective. It's about 10 people, architects, graphic designers, writers, musicians, photographers. It's a mix of people. They are the core collective. We come together every month at least as a group physically. But we're always in touch with each other over the internet. And we decide as a core collective what projects we are going to do or not to do. So all the artistic decisions are made within the core collective and not within the daily management. The task that the daily management has to do is to make sure that we do it in a good way, that we have money to do it, and all those shit work, we often call it. That's what we have to do. And we have a board of directors, and they have to make sure that we do it in a good way. But the board of directors also have a general assembly around them. It's all, this is how it has to be. I guess it's a bit similar here also, but this is how it has to be in Flanders and Belgium. And the general assembly is made of people of the core collective and the community. So by doing this, it's a bit unorthodox to do it in that way. By doing it this way, we make the whole collective still artist-run, because the General Assembly, all the long strategic, big money questions and so on, they all happen at the General Assembly. They have to say go or no go, so there's no way of the board of directors or the daily management, for example, to decide things on their own. They always need the collective and the community around it. And the community, it's all the people that we used to work with and are still working with. So it's all the interns, all the artists and so on. And there's, especially the last 3-4 years, you see there's like a sort of movement happening. So the border between the core collective and the community, it's not that strict anymore, and you see that people are moving in and out from time to time. You also have people who are way closer to the daily management shit work task and are involved very heavily in 019, but you also have people that maybe only do a project once a year. So yeah, this is how we are structured behind all those faces of the people. So this brings us to the flags. We started to do flags as a coincidence. We didn't plan on it, but when we were cleaning up the building, we found a flagpole inside, and after a while we found out that it was on the corner of the building, and sort of as a not really thinking about it, we put it up again and we made a flag, a construction site banner flag, just to say, hey, we're here and we're doing stuff. But all of a sudden, a lot of people started to talk with us. It's crazy the impact of a flag. Suddenly we realized how big the impact of a flag could be in a neighborhood where there's nothing happening at the moment. So we did more and more flags. We also had a pirate radio at that time. So it's a broadband radio transmitter that we have. And if you would go to 91.0, so the reverse of 019, you could hear the music or the debates that we were broadcasting very locally, only 1 kilometer around the building. So because the flags were so nice to do, we decided to add a lot more flagpoles, and we started to do group shows on our roof. And we invited graphic designers, architects, artists, everybody we could think of, from time to time to do a group show. And we've been doing this since since the beginning. This is also it's Jan de Vilder and Inge Vink who made this. So we have a huge collection of about 250 flags now. And from time to time it travels. So at Rotterdam 2 years ago there was like an overview through the city with all of the flags. So we're very good at starting projects. Usually we don't end them, so we keep on growing it. And all our projects somehow happen to become a sort of platform to invite other people. So 019 doesn't, very rarely we really add artistic work ourselves. We very much focused on concepts of showing artwork, of invading into public space and adding some layers, and then along that story inviting a lot of artists that we think would be a nice dialogue to go further with. So yeah, some pictures of ongoing. We did a lot of workshops about flags also. We did so many workshops about flags that me and Valentijn taught for a while at Amsterdam because they thought we were experts in designing flags. So we teach how to make a flag. But it's a very nice. A flag is it still has so much potential, and it's very easy to make, and it's a great way to express what you want to do. This is an old postcard from the city of Ghent. It's from Citadel Park. It's a park that was made for the World Expo from 1958. And it's a statue that was supposed to be a flagpole, but it never happened. And we came across the story that it should have been a flagpole, but nobody used it. Around the corner there's the SMAC Museum and the MSK Museum. It's like the contemporary art and visual arts museums. And also we talked to them, but they also said, yeah, I don't think it's allowed to do anything with it. But we just tried it because nobody seemed to know who could decide if you could do something. So we asked at the museum for a very long letter, added a very official sign to tell you about the flagpole. And ever since we are curating flags at the flagpole in the Citadel Park in front of the Contemporary Art Museum. So we sort of occupied the statue, and also there we made a big series. It's still going on. 2 times a year we invite the artist for a new flag. We also once did an event about it where the artist had the proposal that he wanted to jump with a motorcycle over the flagpole. It was part of an art festival in the Citadel Park about colonialism, because World Expo 1958, a lot of things happening in the park are to be frowned upon. So flags. And then we were doing flags for a few years, and we got a call from a curator at Kortrijk, a different city, that they wanted to showcase all of our flags. It's the first time somebody asked that to us, so we were like, yeah, sure, we want to do it. Sounds cool. And then we asked about the budget, and apparently they had a lot of budget. And we're like, it's kind of stupid just to spend all the budget and renting flagpoles and whatever just to show the little flags. Maybe we try to put all the budget that we have in one big flagpole and see how high it would be. And it turned out to be 20 meters high. We designed a series of flags, and all of a sudden we had the biggest flagpole in Belgium as we knew of at that time. And the good thing is, because it was a city festival during summer, after the city festival we asked what is going to happen with the flagpole, and they said, yeah, we're just going to store it and we'll see. So we replied, maybe you shouldn't store it here, but give it to us, and we continue making flags. So they said yes. And we made a mobile base for the flagpole, so we could start to move it around, because it was also a sort of a shortcut to not have a permit, because it was always hard to have a permit in the city, and because having this and moving it from time to time, we could just, if we just have to contact the owner of the land, and if they're okay, we could do it. So we made a mobile flagpole, as you can see here, put it up, and we started to make very big flags. This is a design by Rem Koolhaas that we invited, because he also actually made the master plan of the whole reconversion of the site we are in. So this is the flagpole. So you can also see on this picture that it's really much in the beginning, because in the back you see 019 in front of the blue crane. Everything in front of it is gone already by now, and everything on the other side is also gone, except for the factory in the middle, and on the other side it's all big building towers right now. And now they're starting on developing this side of the water. But the big flagpole is super nice to have in the neighborhood, because it makes a huge impact on the grey surroundings of the neighborhood, and it's always a very nice moment to invite people when we launch a new flag. This is a flag by Toba Auerbach on the same spot. This is a work by Sophie Nice. I like it very much. What she did is the square meters of the flag, she was looking on ImoWeb. It's like a rental or a building where you can buy a house in Belgium. And she looked for a studio with the same square meters as the flag and the price that it was. So yeah. You see already some buildings start to disappear, and the people start, and the city starts to add like the little black cranes, like historical, maritime things that are not from the neighborhood, but you just buy them, and they put them there. And this is a history of the Belgian flag that the graphic designer made. Because the flag was mobile, it started to move, so it goes from city to city, in very different landscapes. This is in Brussels, for example. This is on the other side of the water of 019. Because if it's not on a specific spot, we always park it somewhere around our own building. This is in the sea mine. It's kind of, sea mine is a big mining site in Belgium, and it's kind of funny how small it becomes when it's like next to really big stuff again. And we also have a few flagpoles in different cities by now. There is one in Leuven and also one in Holland, in Terneuzen. And by having a few flagpoles, all the big collection of the big flags, they travel from one city to the other, from one pole to the other. So you have a sort of growing collection of flags traveling, and every time we put a flag on a new spot, we invite a new artist to add something, so it's always growing. Billboards. When we had the building in the beginning, there was this billboard already, and it was always for us a bit of a pain in the ass, because it drew all of the attention to that billboard and not to our own building. So we tried to contact the company, Belgian Posters, but they never replied, of course, because we asked if we could, like, maybe, because it's a turning billboard, maybe one of the 3 sites we use and then the other ones, but of course they never replied. But we also found out at the same time that they didn't have a permit to put it there. So we wrote a letter to the city, and also the city never replied. So basically everybody let it happen, and we didn't really know what to do. But then we had the idea, so maybe we should just copy it and make it way bigger, so you don't really see the little one anymore. So we did that, and we didn't ask a permit because the other one also didn't have a permit. So we were like, okay, they cannot do anything about it. So that's also how we started to do billboards. And we invited artists to play with the concept of a billboard. And you should also know that we are located at a very busy street. It's like the ring around Ghent passes by our warehouse. So a lot of people see these billboards, see these big flags, and for us it's also a very efficient method to democratize art, just to bring it in public space. People who never come in contact with visual arts or contemporary art, they just see a flag. Sometimes they think, just a nice flag, I like it, and they don't really know the story behind it. But a lot of people start to approach us, hey, I've seen this, what does it mean, and so on. So it's a great way to communicate. I have a lot of first-time visitors or first-time people who get in contact with visual arts. So we made a series, and the funny thing is, because I think we have about 100 big billboards now, and the funny thing is, so the billboard on the left, it always changes. We never know what's going to happen, but a lot of the times there's like some coincidence that's happening. Right here, it's a work by Aline Bouvy. Can you know what it is? Pipi Kaka Geld, probably. Quite German also. And then when we hung up the billboard, a few weeks later, there was like an advertisement for also a white car. So the billboards is also, we can hang it up ourselves. It's also stuff that we do with our community. It's also a big billboard. It means those who stay and those who go. This is also pretty much from the beginning. Everything on the right is gone. And we've been experimenting the past few years also with open calls. To also not always be the curator anymore, but just open it up and people can apply and send in proposals for the billboard. This is one of the latest billboards that we had also, and it was a conversation that we had with the artist about how closed off our space is, and that she wanted to give an insight in the big building. So what you see in the middle of the picture is actually what you see behind the wall. And this made me think of a project that we did a few years before. It's quite early in our history, about 2019, I think. We closed off the building because we had a residency at another museum. And we closed it off in a few ways during that residency. And also, for example, asked artists to do proposals, how to close it off. And this is an artwork by Willem Boel, an artist we work with for a long time already. He changed the flagpoles with wheelbarrows. They're pumping up water from the canal. And it's like, you know, these Japanese fountain things. At some point, they tip over, which means there's like the path in front of O19 becomes inaccessible. But also the nice thing is because of all the water, it sinks in the ground again, and a lot of plants start to grow. So after 1 month, it was completely different, the pavement around O19. And the residency we were doing was at the Design Museum. We won a prize for graphic design, actually, or scenography, graphic design. We won a prize, and the prize that you got was not money, but you could do the classic archive or overview exhibition at the Design Museum of your work. But we told them that we were not that much interested in something like that, and we heard during the conversation that the top floor of the museum didn't have any program over summer. So we quickly replied, oh, that's nice, maybe we can just make a program there. We close 019, we come to the design museum, that's amazing for us. We've never been in a real museum, we can do so much stuff here. And somehow they said yes. And we wanted to have the floor that we were having to be free admission, so that you could just enter and you didn't have to go through the whole museum and pay at the desk. But it was a big problem for them because it was not possible with the circulation and the routing in the museum. So then we started to look for different ways how to get in. You should know that the Design Museum is a monument, but we found one little wall from 4 meters wide that was not a monument, it was recently built. And we asked, can we make a door there and just to get inside? They said, no, impossible. But after talking, they sort of just tried it. And the city said yes, and they didn't expect, I think, that they would say yes. But we decided to make a tower, to make the top floor accessible, and then somewhere halfway the tower, you actually go through the wall, and then through some tunnels, you go to the museum floor that we were organizing a lot of stuff in. We also made a tower because the location that you are seeing now, it was unused. And right now they're building the new wing of the museum. They are building it right now, right there. But it was also a part in the city because it's in the very main touristy center of the city that a lot of people complained about because it was unused, it was dirty, people threw treasure on top of it. There was a lot of peeing against the fences and so on. So with this, we just wanted to activate the space by making the tower. And of course we also added the billboard. We made it the same size at 019, so we could start to move billboard from the residency to the 019 and so on. So this is how you enter the museum then. You go through a pathway of scaffolding and then you enter this very old, it's from the 18th century, the building, very old protected part of the museum. And we made a scenography to show actually all the kind of works that we couldn't show at 019 at all. This is a print from Karel Martens, graphic designer from Amsterdam. And this is the tower outside on a sunny day. We also added the flag, of course, and this is the new view that you got for the city, and this is also the view that you're going to have in the future when the new wing is finished. So it was also a sort of preview of what it would be. And we also added an artwork on the roof of somebody. And this is how we left it. So we have a good masonry that we know, and he put it back in there as if nothing ever happened. The billboard stayed there until the construction site would start, so it stayed there for 5 more years, I think. And we also programmed there only graphic designers because we thought there were not enough graphic designers in the collection of the Design Museum. So then we went back to 019 and we started building. We made a lot of cuts in the building. We wanted to connect the space more because, as you know, we first started as organizing concerts, and all of a sudden, a few years later, we were making exhibitions. So we needed to adapt the space to a new way of working. And the first thing that we did is like rebuild the tower from the Design Museum, bring it back, and open up the roof at 019. And the first exhibition that we made in the new exhibition space was not in the space, but on the roof of 019. So over time, more and more, we saw 019 as a sculpture, scenography, sculpture, architecture, sculpture. And within all the scenographies, we kept on inviting new artists to add pieces to the scenography. At some point, it wasn't clear anymore who made this. Is this a piece of the artwork? Is this the scenography? And so on. This exhibition was called Sundays. It was only open on a Sunday from 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening. And people could walk around on the scaffold on the roof and see an exhibition. And as you can see in the background, the construction sites already started on the other side of the water. We also invited Sterrenwacht. Do you know? It's like I don't know the English word. It's people who like to look at stars as a hobby, and they collect a lot of friends and stargazers, something like that. So we also activated the exhibition from time to time with happenings like this, because it was the idea of some artist to do something about, I think Mercurius was at some point at something. So we looked for an amateur stargazers group, and a lot of people showed up on the roof to watch the stars. The next exhibition that we did was Reservoir, and it's actually the year before COVID, or half a year before COVID, and it stayed for a long time because of that. And the idea of Reservoir was we wanted to make an exhibition on the water, first the roof, then on the water, but it was too hard to get permits to do something on the water, also too expensive. So we decided to bring the water from the canal inside O19. So the complete floor was a big pond. And then we invited artists again to add artworks, but also the plants were part of the artworks. And we made a filter. Together with some bioengineers, we made a very low budget filter. So the longer the exhibition was running, the cleaner the water from the canal became. Of course, it's like a more conceptual thing, but it actually worked. But a tiny bit of the water around us was better. And this is also one of the artworks that we invited, and it's also a nice one because also it changes the public space. It's actually an electricity cabin, but it's not a real one, it's not a used one. It's part of the excess water from the filter goes into the cabin, like as if the electricity box is leaking, and there's like a big pond showing up there, and after a year, it's like full of green and a lot of life is happening there. And we got a lot of calls from like the police department that there were complaints and that they say, do you know whose box this is? We cannot do it open, there's water coming out. And then we also had to say, yeah, it's just an artwork. So that was nice. We had some fountains in the exhibition, and we also worked together with the Nature Museum from Ghent. So we moved some of the artworks during winter time to their greenhouses. Also the electricity box appeared in a different city. So a lot of people started to ask us after these exhibitions to do stuff at their site. And that was new for us because we saw O19 as our playground. We just did stuff. And by doing these things, people started to take us more serious maybe and started to invite us at their institutes or their city festivals to collaborate. It was also freezing everything. And also here we had a lot of happenings or activations. There's a big group of artists in Ghent who also have a fanfare. And they do like fanfare, is it the English word? I don't know. Trumpets and drums, parades through the city. So they do a lot of stuff like that, musicians, but as an artist. And they wanted to do a session in the water. We also had happenings about food together with the pizza joint next door. And also after this, we made a mobile version of the reservoir that could travel spaces, also used as scenography for theaters, or when we get invited, we just moved the whole installation there. I made a new program. And this is the last group show that we did a few years ago. So the reservoir was during COVID. Radiator was during the energy crisis after COVID. And we, there was a big debate going on. A lot of people started to heat their houses with wood again in Belgium. And we decided to invite a lot of artists and to add wood stoves to O19. Any sort of heatings, but a lot of wood stoves to O19 to to think about how we should treat these things. And also here, we keep on doing lectures, debates, workshops around the artworks from the artists. This is a gallery in Antwerp. After all those shows, they also asked us to do a show at their space. We have worked with them before, a few years ago, for the Serving Library collection, and they asked us to make a new scenography inside the space and make an exhibition there. But our proposal was to do something with the window, because the very specific thing about this window, it can completely open to the inside. And we proposed to do an adaptation of the window that made it possible to close the window halfway at 45 degrees. We made a special key for the gallery owner, so they could still enter and go out. And by doing that, a part of the gallery became public space. And we then provided the public space. It became a bench, people could hang out there, and we did an exhibition, not inside the gallery, but only in the little triangular space in front of it. So work by Joël Tuurlings. It says you can take it for free. It's a big marble block. So these are the contributions by different artists. This is a bronze sculpture, not a plant. We invited all of our people from the community, graphic designers, to, if they are in Antwerp, to go there and add a sticker that they designed to the window. So it kept on growing on the side of the gallery. And this little electrical box also is dripping water. And this was like 6 months after the project. Somebody tagged it, which is for us like a perfect ending point of the project also, because it really became public space if some graffiti artist tags it. And this is the, I don't know what time it is, but this is, yeah, good, sort of the last project I want to show, because it's sort of a different project and a different scale. We applied for an open call from the Vlaams Bouwmeester. It's like the intendant for architectural projects. We applied together with ConstructLab and we won the competition to design a pavilion, temporary pavilion for a festival at the castle. The castle used to be by Paul Rubens, owned by Paul Rubens, the famous Flemish painter. Show you some pictures, and then I go into it. So obviously we were inspired by construction sites, and we made a design team between O19 and ConstructLab. And the only rule that we gave ourselves is that everything that we build, before we use it, we should already know what's going to happen with it after the period of the temporary pavilion. And that sort of started to decide on how it started to look. Because as you saw in the beginning, it is a triangle space. Yeah. And the reason why it is like that is also that we worked together with a company who made a tent, and the tent was going to be able, in this size, to be reused at another space. So all of these things started to really decide on how the construction started to look. And we made a space for people to hang out, but especially for people to come together and see debates and concerts in the center of the pavilion. Project of this scale is also a bit of a different way of working, because we also had to work together with contractors, because not everything we could build. The solid surface was 7 meters in the ground, so we found a company who did these poles, and they reused them after it. And we worked together with the contractor that we knew to set up the base structure. And then together with Construct Lab, we did a long workshop period where we added the soft layer, as we call it, a full wooden structure, also together with a lot of volunteers of a space in the neighborhood in Velvoorde, Aziatpark. We were going to reuse all the wood after it. All the stairs that you see here are also used at O19 right now to make our new scenography. So we keep on reusing everything whenever we build something. And this is the space when it is activated. We had trouble with the water, so very last minute we made a sort of funny sculpture with stuff from O19, but it kind of looked cool in the end. And now, after that project, we also won the Henry van de Velde Award. And if I look back to it, it's sort of a bit weird. We are here on the right. This is us, photobombing with our back. But the Henry van de Velde Award is more like a serious prize in Belgium, and they give it to like serious designers. And we still sort of feel, I think, like the punk rock kids who started something and are now becoming something consolidating. It's like the ongoing topic at our collective also now. How can we keep the spirit of 10 years ago while we're still doing projects like this and everything is becoming bigger and budgets are going higher and so on and more people involved. But the good thing about the Henry van de Velde Awards is that also the city started. This should have been before it. But this is also a good example. These are all leftover materials from the pavilion. The bouwmeester asked if we could make a bench for them as a gift because the bouwmeester was leaving, and we asked some people from our community to make it then. So in that way we keep on giving jobs to people from the community. But the Henry van de Velde Awards made quite some impact for us because the city also started to take O19 more serious after that prize. And we started this 12 years ago as temporary use of a warehouse. The longest running temporary use of a space in Ghent. So it kept on moving. And we told the city a few years ago that we wanted to stay there for long term, that we want to invest in the building and so on, but they never really started to talk with us until at some point we had the Henry van de Velde Awards and there was like a sort of momentum. And yesterday I got an email from the city that they want to start the negotiations to have the building for 25 years. So that's a complete shift of how we intended the space. That also means that we might survive the gentrification that's happening around us, and also bears the question of how do we connect us to the surroundings then. And just as a last picture, this is an assignment from the architecture school in Ghent. Some of our collective teach at the school, and the assignment that they made was to repurpose or remodel O19 as an artistic space and a residency space. So 200 students made a maquette about it, and the best got viewed at O19. And we also invited the city at that point, so there was like a big momentum about continuing the space. Yeah. That's about it.
Hey, thank you so much for this incredible amount of work. And
I always try to tell too much in one presentation, but
no, but it was great, and I think it's also great that you didn't specifically point out, let's say, always the spatial quality of your interventions.
Yeah.
Also because you're coming from a different field probably. And I think it was stunning to see, like, for example, when you were showing the flags, okay, the flags as a sign or something also that kind of occupies space or kind of gives an information about who is there or what is happening. But then also, when you were showing this big flag, the 20-meter flag that you positioned outside of the, where this old, that was torn away, this old house was, in this kind of gentrification process, it extends even, you know, your factory space 300 meters along the river. So it's almost like this Palladian gesture of putting statues further apart from the villa, but then also claiming the territory in a sort of quite strong gesture. And I was wondering, like, how do you, I mean, of course now you survived this kind of gentrification process.
I don't know if it survived, maybe.
But how did you position the factory within this kind of precarious, neoliberal movement that is happening around it? And I think you were aware when you got it first that you were also a there was the danger of being complicit in this whole process, right? The classical artist-run space, which is kind of, you know, polishing the image and so on. How do you react to that?
It's a lot of questions in one question.
Sorry.
I think actually what you said in the beginning, the optimistic punks or the constructive punks, I think that's also truly your nature. I think we always try to, because of course we knew, you know, they're asking us to be anti-squatting, but we know they want us to do something with the space because at the very beginning nobody came to that site. There were some other anti-squatting temporary uses on the other side of the water, so they wanted to make like a sort of momentum before they would start building. So of course we were we knew about that, but I think that's also why we have the sabotage and complicity title. It's actually a text that somebody who's on our board wrote about this a few years ago. And I think we always try to somehow, we have always a very clear idea about what we want to do with the space and the space or the exhibition and so on. We always talk about that at first, and I think we always know how to bend the situation in our favor somehow, without selling out, as you would say, because we're always constructive in this way. And it's a bit like the design museum also. At first they didn't want us to do anything there because we would draw a lot of attention to the spot that they had a lot of complaints about. But we were especially interested in the spot because we wanted to have free admission available. So it's not always for us to be extremely critical about gentrification and what's happening and so on, but we also don't just do what they want for it. Also in the beginning from 019, we used 019 as a space for other artists. We weren't talking about the public, and we weren't talking about the project developments on the other sides and what they wanted. We weren't talking about what they wanted from us. We made a space at first for ourselves, but mainly for the art scene in Ghent, and it was very focused on that. We didn't draw a lot of people from the neighborhood at all in the beginning, and it's almost a bit by like a childish coincidence that we started to get attention from the neighborhood because we liked flags, and we put a flagpole in the city, in the grey city, because we thought everybody's ignoring this space, maybe just start to do stuff here. We put a flagpole in the middle of the ringway and see what's going to happen, and that is how we start to move in there, but it's always focused on the artist, and we often got from the city. That's why it was also hard, I think, with the city in the beginning. We never thought about audience and public and so on. We just wanted to make a good environment for artists who finished school and didn't have anywhere to go to start doing stuff that was not in the institute, which is also very hard and very limited what you can do there. And that's just our approach to things. Like, what do we want to do? We still see it after 12 years as a playground for artists, and not as a brand or a thing. That's also why we never had, like, we could have made a big summer bar there probably and made a lot of money with it, but we never were interested in that.
How did you make money? Like, does anybody like strictly work within 019, or
Yeah.
do you all have other jobs
It's a
to make a living?
It's a combination. As I said, over the years we are structurally funded, so we get money from the Flemish government, about 250,000 euros a year now, but it grew very slowly. So yeah, by now, since a few years, some people, we have about 2.2 full-time, but it's divided along five to six people, and a lot of the other people from the core collective and the community, they are freelance project-based connected to 019. But we have a very equal, transparent, fair pay system, so everybody gets paid to do what they do at 019 right now. But that's only since 2 years. Yeah. And yeah, so I think 019 was our playground, and it grew with us, because before I run also a graphic design studio, but I stopped doing it because I work full-time now for 019 and Kunsthalle. But we never imagined that when we started. We weren't thinking about things like that.
Yeah. In a way, it started as just another project, the 19th project, but then in a way it also became.
Yeah, and we all had day jobs next to that. in the first 6, 7, 8 years. Yeah.
Are there any questions from the audience?
What's the favorite way to develop those ideas? So it was a bit.
I think the only way that works for us is to sit around the table with most of us together. That's the best way, and that's also one of the parts that are harder right now, because the speed of the projects, and we also get more assignments and so on that we like to do. So it's speeding up, and it's sometimes harder for people. It becomes harder and harder to get together, because. Yeah, when we started, we were just there together all of the time. You know, we had the day job and then we went there. But now we all have very much different lives throughout the collective. Also, a lot of different age groups also now. But still, the best way is to sit at a table and have like a brainstorm. So we are organized like that we have at least every month. We come together with everybody. We have a list of projects or ideas, and we start to brainstorm. And the good things we write down, and then it also very much depends on who's willing to do what. If somebody's excited, for example, the bouncy castle, then somebody's like, oh yeah, I want to draw it, and then that person really invests most of the time in it, and we have a sort of ongoing conversation about it then, and that usually happens online. You know, having like the feedback and so on. But the core of the ideas, we just sit at a table and we talk for a few hours. Yeah. Anything else doesn't work actually. We tried, but it's not easy. But also the online part is super important. We have like a platform because it's also the democratic way to keep everybody involved. If you're missing out on this, on that, you can always see in the different channels what's happening for which project. Yeah.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Sounds very harmonious.
Yeah.
How do you resolve conflicts?
That's also something that's because we are in the beginning we didn't have it. Conflicts are not that much, but we had sort of, it's better now, but at some point you have the tipping point, I think, when the playground becomes a job and all those things start to happen. We had to structure ourselves way more than before. So we have systems about decision making and so on. There's still a big problem with people who can invest a lot of time in 019 and people who cannot do it just because of circumstances. If we have conflicts, we usually talk them through, and we keep on talking. And we don't have a rule about consensus about something. So we need consent. So at some point you also have to, because we're a lot of expertises together with different practices. We are very open, I think, in what we think of something, and we really say if we think it's good or bad. But also at some point, if some technical thing needs to be drawn, and there's like problems for this or that. It makes sense that the architect has maybe the strongest voice at that time. So you also need to follow at some point, and I think the main thing to make a collective work is that you sort of believe in the strength and the force of the collective as a whole, and that you have trust that it will not go sideways if we keep on talking. But yeah, trust and consent and not consensus, because that didn't work. We tried that before, you know, agreeing on everything all the time. It doesn't work for us.
Thanks for this fantastic talk, Thomas. I've got two questions.
Yeah.
And one is, I mean, the series is on collaboration, and you are collective, collaborating all the time. And it's just, that's a small one. How much of your energy goes into being able to do things together? If you could even put a percentage to it or something, or like content versus kind of getting even there to produce something. Then I ask the same.
It's very much different from person to person. But for example, most of my time goes to the facilitating and being able to work together as a collective. That's also one of the reasons why we are funded. We get money to investigate and experiment with a collective way of working. So yeah, a lot of time goes into that, and it's not. It's not like we're always just sitting together and having like the fun studio moments like you have here. It's a lot of work to get to those moments. Yeah. So I guess 70% of my time is working on that.
Thank you. And the second one would be just the price seemed to make you nervous slightly, right? Because it might change also something. So, as you said, I mean, the city is already responding differently to you, meaning that your internal processes might be affected also, and the way you used to. And I think that's probably quite interesting, but slightly scary at the same time and everything. And 13 years is quite long for a collective that you have managed to kind of keep it kind of going. Where do you see yourself in 5?
In 5, I think still at 019, because it's also a bit of a. I'll answer it personally because I don't know for the other people of the collective. But I started 019 together with my fellows as a place for ourselves to experiment. You know, we didn't find spaces in institutions or other or schools or whatever. Where we could do what we wanted to do and develop the ideas that we had. So we made like our own little space, and because we just have a very collaborative, open mindset that really goes back to our youth, doing punk rock and hardcore shows, and we did a lot of stuff already from the age of 14. So it was very natural to us to start to share the ideas with everybody, and 019 became a platform for a lot of people, and we established that somehow. You know, 13 years we can do it. We did it. We still do different projects together and with other people. But now I have a sort of so we did all of that with a temporary mindset. You know, we're going to do this for 5 years and then we're going to be gone. And then they added 2 more years and so on and so on. And all of a sudden you're 13 years. Now we're at a tipping point that the temporary might be long term. And that changes a lot. Changes for a big part, maybe almost everything. And it also stresses us being in the process of the gentrification is something, but us staying there, what does that mean? So it's a very big thing. But for me personally, I want this building to survive. I want to be able to make it happen, that some anti-squatting temporary space becomes an art center in a new gentrified neighborhood, and I want to make it happen. I want to find the funding, and I don't want to make it happen for myself, but I want to make it happen for the next generations. I want the space to be established as a space for art and architecture and graphic design and young people. And I know we have the momentum and we have the skill set and so on in the collective to do it, but the people who are gonna profit from it, I hope, is not us anymore, but is the next generations. Yeah. So that's why I still do it. And
when I was looking at your work, like also when Dries was showing me your work, I felt that there were so many topics that are so relevant and contemporary also, but in a good way, in a radical way, that you're touching, like this whole process-orientated thinking in architecture, the kind of this acceptance of how to say, like restrictions, almost this kind of jiu-jitsu method that you're potentiating problems into something that has another outcome. And I was wondering, because in a way you're not doing it like as architects, you're doing architecture almost like through the back door, but what's the resonance you get from the field of architecture? Do you have a position there, or how is it in Belgium or also internationally?
I think we sure have a position there. At least we get you invite us. No, and the funny thing is that also a lot of the some people at O19 who are not architect teach in architect schools now.
Really?
Yeah.
So nice.
So yeah, that's a sort of funny thing. A lot of people think we're all architects, for example, but only, like I think only 2 actually of us are architects by education, and both of them are teaching also by now. But yeah, we don't really also see it. Like I'm a graphic designer, and I think what they teach us at school is not really. Yeah, of course, you learn how to make a book and make a poster, but what they teach us is a sort of attitude, how you approach a problem or an idea or a concept, and a lot of the things that you saw. Maybe I designed a lot in it, and it's all spatial and architectural, but we never have in our collective the conversation about so it's more architectural assignment, so you have to do it because you're the architect. We never talk in that way about the disciplines. It's more like who has the skills to do it, you know. I can draw some things, but I don't know how to use Vectorworks or AutoCAD or whatever, and we're going to need an engineer, and I don't know how to make the plans for the engineer. So it's more about the skill set and the time that people have and the enthusiasm to do something. And we're very much, that's just our main focus also, I think. We're very much interested in where design, graphic design, architecture, scenography, and visual arts, where there's sort of overlap. And the overlap is just consistent throughout the collective. Like I said before, a lot of the interns that come here, and when we have the first conversation, and usually it's like a good sign, they're like, yeah, I studied architecture, but I'm really doubting if that's the life that I want. So I just want to have fun for half a year and build things and touch things and make things. And we very much work that way also. We make plans and what we build it changes so much along the process when building it. So we never have the finished plans. And also you, after 10 years, you start to think as a whole also. Like I work often together with Olivier Goethals, who really makes a plan. And along the way, I make when we're building it, I make a lot of other decisions. But I know he's gonna think the same, and that's the that's the strength of a collective, I think. If you can do it for 10 years, it's really never about whose profession and who's this or that. Yeah. And we also don't often talk about graphic design or architecture in a project. We talk about a concept or like an idea. You know, the exhibition of the reservoir, for example, is not about a scenography. It's about, okay, we're going to pump the water from the canal, we're going to filter it. It's going to be this little ecosystem in an old warehouse in the docks. And that's the conversation that we're having. And then, of course, you need to make it accessible. And then we invite 5 artists, and they have this and that idea. And then to make their idea work, we need to change some things maybe, or we may need to make a hole in the wall, like the door that you showed on the paper. It was just a way to make the box, because it's still there. But the reason why we made it at some point is we had the box inside in the space. We closed it off with the wood, and we want to have an exhibition that was 24/7 accessible. So we made we needed a new door to be able to do that, and that wall was the closest to the box. So we made the door for that, and we made a little tunnel, so you could go into the tunnel for 5-6 meters into the space and watch an exhibition at night. And that was just the easiest spot to do it.
It's fantastic, no?
And then we also did the triangles, because it's easy. You know, you don't need to, I don't know the English word, you don't need to make the
beam, the little piece
the beam on top of it.
Slow bearing.
So it's self-bearing. That's how we design and think and talk, and not the other way around. And we also, things fail, we don't mind. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect to go. We'll see along the way. It's like, failing forward, and that's the good thing, that we also never end the project. It's not so. It's not a big problem if something is not as good. You know, you can tweak it along the way. Right?
Yeah, this we saw a lot. Like that you stayed optimistic with every corner that you took, and also let the project change. I also think it's a crazy potential, this kind of non-authorship that you have, that nobody's defending his or her own ego or anything. That it's. I mean, all these topics like participation, collaboration, they're like pretty en vogue, but I think you really see it as a fundamental part in your work. It's the whole process is totally based on that fact.
That's one of the topics that we never got through. You know, how do we credit the people of the collective for a project? Like in the architecture firms, you have like the whole list of who made what. And every time we start at a conversation, we never get through. We cannot make the divisions for any project.
Who did what?
Who did what? It doesn't make sense. That's also why, the authors of the books that we make are just all the artists and ourselves. We're just in between it also. Because if you look at the group show or like at the flagpole, it's everything together that makes it, and it's also the position in the city or wherever it is, and it's all those things. So we never say who's doing what. And we tried it a few times, and now we stopped doing it.
If nobody else has something to add, I think it's a really also beautiful final word. Thank you so much for your generosity and the insights you gave us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.